Hello everyone, it is I, Mark S.W. Last year I made 3 videos where I shared with you guys my favourite TV shows I used to watch when I was a kid. So I thought I'd do something similar this year. This time I thought we'd take a look at some of the comedy shows that I like. Most of them are filmed in front of a live audience. In fact, pretty much all of them are. What I thought I'd do is share with you guys 5 of my favourite comedy shows from certain decades. There's no particular rank order, they're all good. So in this video I'll talk about my 5 favourite comedy shows from the 60s and the 70s, and then next week I'll talk about the 80s. So if you're looking forward to this, do give this video a thumbs up and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload the next video. Before I begin, I should point out a couple of things. 1, there may be some spoiler alerts in the upcoming videos, and 2, like with the kids TV shows, I can't show any clips because of copyright, but I can do screenshots, providing that YouTube will allow me to. So the first comedy show from the 60s and 70s I'm going to talk about is Dad's Army. This is one of 3 BBC comedies that takes place during World War II. Dad's Army is set in an English town called Wilmington-on-Sea. It's all about the adventures of the Home Guards. For those of you who don't know what Home Guards are, I shall explain. During the Second World War, some people couldn't join the army because they were either too old, have medical problems, or have very important jobs. But they can volunteer as local defence soldiers, if you like. So the leader of the Home Guards, Captain Mannering, he's the head of the bank, and his second in command, Sergeant Wilson, he's the chief clerk at the bank. And third in command, Lance Corporal Jones, who's always telling everyone not to panic. He's a butcher, and they use his butcher van as troop transportation. The rest of the Home Guard platoon are all privates. The main ones we usually focus on are Fraser, a Scottish undertaker, Walker, a Swizz, that's someone who sells things on the black market, Godfrey, a retired civil servant, he's the medical orderly, and Pike, who also works at the bank, and sometimes Captain Mannering says, "You stupid boy." There are 9 series and 3 Christmas specials, and most of their adventures involve going on training exercises, defending the town from Germans, sorting out some personal problems, and proving a point. Because they're Home Guards, some people, especially Chief Warden Hodges, they don't take them seriously because they're not proper soldiers, and this really insults Mannering. So sometimes they'll try and prove how useful the Home Guards are. They can be just as tough as regular soldiers. A lot of the series was filmed in Thetford, which is in Norfolk. So if you ever go there, there's a Dad's Army museum you can check out, so I recommend it. The next comedy is The Goodies. It's about 3 friends, Tim Brooke-Taylor, Graham Garden, and Bill Oddie. And together they are the Goodies, and their motto is, "We do anything, anytime." Basically they're kind of like odd job people. If you have a problem or if you need a helping hand, then you call them and they'll help sort things out and take care of things, and usually trying to improve 1 or 2 things, like certain laws in the British government. Most of their adventures, it's very cartoony, like if you fall off a 300-foot building and you survive, that kind of humour is involved in the series. And they have lots of very funny and ridiculous adventures, like a giant kitten, a beanstalk, a puppet government, and a martial art which involves hitting people on the head with black puddings. A fun fact about the Goodies, all 3 of them actually provided voices for the children cartoon series Banana Man. The 3rd series to check out is It Ain't Half Hot Mum. This is another World War II comedy series, only this takes place near the end of the war, and it's in Doolally in India, and later on in the series it's in Burma, because we weren't just fighting the Germans, we were also fighting the Japanese during the war. The series is about a group of Royal Artillery soldiers who have set up a concert party to help boost the men's morale before they get posted up the jungle. I'm not going to go through every member of the concert party because it's quite a big one, but I can mention one or two of them. Like one of them is Gloria Beaumont. He's the leading lady, so someone who dresses up as a woman. Lofty Sugden, who's the singer, and Paderewski Graham, who plays the piano. And they're all very talented people, really. They really are. In charge of the concert party are two officers, Colonel Reynolds and Captain Ashwood. And there is a third member, Sergeant Major Williams. Everyone calls the Sergeant Major Old Shut Up because he's always telling everyone to shut up.
Shut up.
Also, the Sergeant Major doesn't like the concert party. He says they have no right to be on camp and they should be posted up the jungle, like all soldiers. I should warn you that it ain't half hot, Mum. It is quite offensive towards LGBT people because the Sergeant Major doesn't like the idea of men dressing up as women. He says it's not natural, and because of this, he calls the concert party a load of puffs. Also, it can be a bit racist, because I mentioned the series takes place in India, and during the Second World War, Britain still owned India. Usually the most racist episodes are the ones that involve the natives annoying the Sergeant Major. Like, he gets very offended when he sees signs that say, "Quit India" or "British pigs go home." Or if the natives spit on the Union Jack flag, that really gets his blood boiling. But apart from those things, it is a series that's worth watching because there's some really, really funny jokes. I recommend the last post joke, that's the best one. The fourth comedy show is Morecambe and Wise. It's about two comedians, Eric Morecambe and Ernie Wise. Now, unlike the comedy shows I've just mentioned, this one is a stage show comedy series. Kind of like the Muppets. That's a stage show comedy, and they have special guests. Of course, the only difference is this one is live action, not puppets, but you get the idea of what kind of show it is. So the show involves lots of different sketch comedies, musical performances, and lots of different guest stars. Also, it's well known for various catchphrases. For example, what do you think of this video so far?
Rubbish!
See what I mean? And finally, my fifth favourite comedy from the 60s and 70s, Porridge, along with its spin-off series, Going Straight. The series stars Ronnie Barker, who's playing a character called Norman Stanley Fletcher, and he's spending 5 years at Slade Prison. The series involves episodes where he's helping fellow inmates with their problems, including his roommate, Leonard Godber. Or there are episodes where he's annoying the security guards, or the screws as they would call them, like Senior Prisoner Officer Micaiah. There are 3 seasons of Porridge, including 2 Christmas specials. The spin-off, Going Straight, he's spent 3.5 years in prison and now his parole has come up, so he's free to go. Slade Prison is the 3rd prison Fletcher has been in, and now that he's 45 years old, he's reached the point where it's time to retire from crime and go straight. So during the series, he's trying to find a job and keep on the straight path. There are some really good episodes, especially the ones where he's helping the other inmates. But a good episode to take a look at would be A Night In, one of the Series 1 episodes. You could say it's similar to the situation we were in during COVID. We could go out, to a nightclub and meet a few birds and then take them to the bar for a drink. Or we could just have a nice quiet night in. Watch the episode and I think you'll understand what I mean. So those are my 5 favourite comedies from the 60s and 70s. If I didn't mention your favourite, well, tough. but no, seriously, there are other comedy shows from the 60s and 70s. Made a quick list of them. Like, I mentioned Ronnie Barker. Well, there's another Ronnie called Ronnie Corbett, and together they're the 2 Ronnies. Again, it's another one of those stage shows. There's also Monty Python's Flying Circus. This one I recommend if you're a fan of Monty Python movies. And Fawlty Towers, starring John Cleese, who worked with Monty Python. So that's a shout out to those comedies that aren't in my top 5, but they're worth having a look. So like I said, I recommend checking out the 5 comedies that I liked, and if you know a comedy series that was made in the 60s and 70s that I might enjoy, then leave it in the comments below and I'll have a look at it. So next week I'll be sharing with you guys my 5 favourite comedy shows that were made in the 80s. Until then, if you've enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up, and like I said, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you know when I upload the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Do check out the comedy shows that I've listed, and I'll see you next time. Over and out.